guys, and welcome to my City Skylines series. On the screen here I'm just showing a map showing where the main areas that we're going to be working in today are. Obviously, as we work our way through the series, we'll be getting more and more of that filled out, and hopefully showing a bit of British design in the process. So, on the subject of maps, I've chosen a map from the workshop as it's similar in concept to the map that I wanted to create. I have actually started creating my own, but I'm sure you realise that it's a significant amount of work, and obviously making a suitably British map would be quite hard work. This one's not specifically British, but there are certainly aspects of it which I really like. One of the key elements that I really want to get across in this series is that I really want to create something which has a British feel to it, but also isn't a mega city, because I think a lot of people do mega cities in City Skylines. They're quite easy to do, in truth, and I want to do something a bit different. So the first clip, which I'm showing here, shows me placing down an area for some industry. I was hoping to turn off infinite money at some point so that we'd be able to actually create an economy that works. The story of this town, this city, is going to be one of a good degree of success. Britain is fairly wealthy. It does have deprived areas, and of course they'll be shown, and a lot of towns have more deprived areas, but by and large it's not as it's a wealthy first world country. I don't know whether Oxwick will be a city as such, but it will have a cathedral, which is the traditional designation for a city, so it might be a city a bit like York or Chester, for example, which are both very small, large towns really, which have undergone a degree of change but also have a very historical core, and that's certainly the feeling I want to be going for here. Either way, at the moment this area here is just temporary. I will be moving the industry later when I've got some more jobs and industry down and places where people can work. So what's my unique selling point with City Skylines, and why should you listen? Why should you watch? Well, I like to keep things a bit realistic. I like to give them a history. I have a degree in history. That's what I did at university, so I'll try and explain a bit as I go through as to why certain things have developed in the way they are. The clip which I'm showing here is one which just shows the development of the railway station, the main city railway station, which in a traditional English town or British town was often built at the edge of the town rather than in the centre. In a lot of more European cities you'd find the railway station more in the centre. A lot of the time now, of course, British cities have wrapped around the stations which are there, but it's not something which is fundamental, because a lot of British cities do have a really strong history, often founded in medieval or Roman times, and that's what we'll be looking at here. Obviously, one of the key things about the British nation as well is that, or British home building, is that it tends to be quite close, tight together. There isn't an awful lot of high density, especially in the villages and towns around the big cities, and that tends to be reserved for bigger cities. Somewhere like London is actually rather different to the vast majority of cities around the UK. So one of the things that I really want to get across is this kind of atmosphere of Britishness, which I think is because of the high population density. It's sort of villages are based around roads. A village has to have perhaps certain functions and features which made it what it was. They're not always the same. I don't really subscribe to the idea that a British village has to be this kind of perfect Cotswoldy type thing, but there is certainly an element of history and something special to them, a reason why they existed, and I think it's quite important that try and capture that. So that's enough talking from me on this occasion. At the moment I'm just showing the building of the railway station, so I think I'll probably leave it there and just play a bit of music to keep us going. I'm really hoping that the videos will improve. Obviously the grey box in the bottom right hand corner won't be there permanently. That's because I realised I'd left WhatsApp recording on top of my Cities Skylines client, so I don't really want everybody reading my messages. To be honest, I don't really want to read them half the time, so we'll just leave that there for a few episodes whilst we get through some of my more recorded material. As you can see, when I build, it's quite an iterative process. I was getting used to a few mods that I hadn't used before, such as one which gave me a better camera view, but also meant that it zoomed in and out a bit more quickly and a bit more focally than I am used to. So I was just getting used to that. I'm really hoping that all of these things I'll improve on as we go through and learn as I make these videos. Take care, and I'll speak to you next time.